Yes, my dear students. Good morning to all. Good evening to all of you. Am I audible for everybody? Can you please confirm it? Yes, all of you must confirm it. Am I audible? Fine. So let us move to the further discussion. Let us move to the further discussion. What was our last class? So our last class was. So we had a discussion about exception, syntax for handling the exception. So syntax for handling the exception. How many keywords are there? How many keywords are there? 5 keywords are there. Which keywords we learned in the last class? So this is the keywords we learned it. Right? Now I am going for explanation for the keywords of exception handling. Explanation for the keywords of exception handling. Okay. So now I am going to give you explanation. I am going to give you explanation for the keywords of exception handling. So I will start with the keywords of exception handling. So now I am going to start. Now I am going to start the explanation part here. I am going to start the explanation part. So today is a less strength is there, ma? What is the problem? Today is a less strength is there. Anything special? Explanation for the keywords for the holidays mode, Tausif? Yeah, maybe. Okay. Maybe I think so. Explanation for the keywords of exception handling. Exception handling. Explanation for the keywords of exception handling. Okay, right. So let us start with the explanation for the keywords of exception handling. Now I am going to start with the something like this. Fine. So let us start with the discussion here. Very simple, my dear students. Let's watch it. Yeah. So, yes, ma. That's what. Holiday mode, na? Yeah. But subject is also very important, na? Subject is also very important. Yeah. Look at all of you, my dear students. Explanation for the keywords of exception handling. So as a part of exception handling, we have how many keywords? These many number of keywords are there. So first I am talking about what keyword? Try. Except, else, finally. These are the keywords which we are going to discuss. And at the same time, raise is a separately I will explain. Raise I am going to give you separate explanation for that. Okay? Don't miss out. Very careful. Try to understand me carefully, my dear students. Yeah. First I will go for try block. Even we did some example also. In the last session. So example part also we had. So div2 you see. This is my explanation in the last session. Okay? Yeah. So let us start with the try block first. Try block. First block is called what? Try block. Tell me what we are going to do it in the try block. I am going to give you the clarity here. So last class part we are going to discuss. What is the first part, ma? First part. It is the block. Yes, my dear students, please confirm. It is the block in which we write block of statements generating the exceptions. It is the block in which we write block of statements generating exceptions. Right? In other words, what are all the statements are generating exceptions? Those statements will be written in try block. Okay. So in this block we write block of statement generating exceptions. So in other words, I will continue. In other words, whatever the exceptions are generating, or whatever the statements are generating, exceptions, generating exceptions, those statements must be, written, must be written within, which block? Try block. And hence try block is called, yes please, try block is called, come on my dear students, is called which block? Exception monitoring block. Exception monitoring block. Yes, exception monitoring block. Fine. So it is the block in which we write the block of statements, in which we write what? Block of statements generating what? Exceptions. Whatever the block of statements are generating exceptions, those things must be written inside of what? Come on. Those things must be written inside of what? Try block. And hence try block is known as what? Exception monitoring block. Is this point is clear? Yes, my dear students, is this point is clear? Yes, students. It is the block in which we write block of statements. We write the block of statements generating the exceptions. In other words, whatever the statements are generating exceptions, those statements must be written within try block. And hence try block is called what? Exception monitoring block. Am I clear about it? Yes. Perfect. Now, next, what this exception is occurring? Where are the exceptions are occurring? What is happening in this place? Exceptions are occurring in which block? Try block. Whenever the exception is occurring in try block, PVM comes out of which block? Try block, and executes the appropriate except block. And executes the appropriate which block? Except block. Now I am writing. When the exception occurs in which block? Try block. When the exception occurs in try block, what will happen? PVM comes out of which block? Try block, and executes appropriate which block? Except block. Appropriate except block. When the exception occurs in try block, PVM comes out of try block and executes appropriate except block. Very good. And next point you must understand, my dear students. Next point you must understand here. What is the next point I am saying here? When the exception occurs in try block, PVM comes out of try block and executes appropriate except block. It's very nice. And see the syntax here. Every try block must be immediately followed by, see my dear students, every try block must be immediately followed by which block? Except block. Every try block must be immediately followed by except block. Between try block and except block, we should not write any other intermediate statements. Every try block, see syntactically, every try block, let me take my pointer once more, my pointer. So let me take my pointer here. Yeah, so I will take this pointer here. So coming to the point of it, so I will take it this part. Whenever we start the execution part, this try block is immediately followed by what? Except block. So we should not write any other intermediate statements here. So that part I will write it here. So every try block must be immediately followed by which block? Immediately followed by which block? Except block. Are you able to follow me? Come on, ma, confirm it. Everybody must confirm it. Syntactically what we wrote. And the next part I am writing. Every try block must contain. What is a minimum requirement? What is the minimum requirement? Every try block must contain at least one except block. What do you say? My dear students? Every try block must contain at least one except block. Am I correct? Every try block must contain at least one except block. Come to the point back here. This is immediately followed by, now I am writing, every try block must contain, every try block must contain, at least one must contain, at least one, every try block must contain at least one except block. Every try block must contain at least one except block, and it is recommended. Would you like to write only one and recommended to write more number of messages, ma? Yes, Aditya, correct, ma. Is it recommended to write only one except block or many except blocks? Every try block must contain at least one except block, and it is recommended to contain, recommended to contain. Come on, quickly. Recommended to contain. Yes, please. Recommended to contain multiple except blocks. Multiple except blocks must contain multiple except blocks for generating multiple user friendly error messages. Multiple user friendly error messages. Good. Every try block must contain at least one except block, and it is recommended to contain multiple except blocks. Right. So, coming to the point of it, yes, ma. D. John. Yes. So, after writing try block, we can't imagine like that. D. John. So, D. John. After writing this part, we can't imagine without except block user friendly error message, my dear student. So, a user friendly error message, when we write try block means it is mandatory for you, compulsory you need to have except block. Okay, this is something like a railway track. One track is called what? A try block. Another is called what? Except block. Except block it is. So we can't imagine only one track. Okay, please think like that. Okay, right. Okay, next part I am going to write it, my dear student. One more point I am writing. What is that point is, after getting, when the exception is occurring here, after this block of statement, some exception will come. For example, this exception will come. After this executing this except block, do you think that again PVM control go back to the try block to execute the rest of the statements? Do you think that is it going to the block of statements again to the try block? Never, because exception means abnormal termination. Super. That I am writing. After executing, dear students, after executing what? Appropriate, which block? Except block. After executing appropriate except block. Right. Yes, ma. Saifuddin. I will tell you that. Yeah. Yes, ma. Saifuddin. I will show you. Now itself I will show you. Okay? Wait. I will call you back once again. Whenever I come to that, I will show you that. So by the time you must know that. Still no problem. That is a common doubt. You will get it. I will show you that. Okay, ma? Right. After executing appropriate except block. After executing appropriate except block, PVM control never comes to try block. After executing appropriate except block, PVM control never comes to try block. Okay, these are the points to be remembered about which block. My dear students. Come on, ma. Which block this is? Try block. Is it clear? Will you say, if anybody asks you tomorrow, will you answer, my dear students, this answer? Yes, you have to answer this kind of part. Excellent. Yeah. Next I will go for second part it is. What is the next part? Except block. Except block I am going to talk about it. What is the except block, sir? Simple, sir. First point I am going to say. It is the block. It is the block in which we write, in which we write what statements? Block of statements. Block of statements. It is the block in which we write block of statements, generating block of statements, generates, generates which messages? User friendly error messages. User friendly error messages. User friendly error messages. In other words, come on. In other words, now I am writing. In other words, except block. In other words, except block, generate except block, suppresses what messages? Except block suppresses technical error messages, and generates what messages? User friendly error messages, user friendly error messages, user friendly error messages, user friendly error messages. It is the block in which we write block of statements, generates user friendly error messages. In other words, except block suppresses technical error messages and generates user friendly error messages, and hence except block is called what messages? Exception monitoring block. This is which one? Exception monitoring block is called what? Try block. And except block is called what? Exception processing block. Exception processing block. Am I correct? Exception processing block. Am I correct? Yes, sir. Exception processing block. Perfect. My dear students, let us move to the further. Hence, here I will write one note, my dear students. One note I will write it. Handling exception is nothing but handling exception is equal to which blocks I need to write? Try block compulsory plus what? Try block compulsory. Next is called what? Except block compulsory. Except block compulsory. Handling exception is equal to try block plus except block. Try block plus except block. Try block plus except block I must write it. Handling exception is equal to try block plus what? Except block. I must write compulsory. Am I correct? Is this note, are you accepting? Are you understanding this note, ma? Handling the exception is nothing but exception monitoring plus handling the exception. Okay? Okay, students? Yes, students. Now, coming to the point of it. So, when the except block will execute? Except block will execute when there is an exception in try block. Except block will execute. Except block will execute. Except block will execute. Except block will execute when there is when an exception occurs in which block? Try block. When an exception occurs in try block. Except block will execute when an exception occurs in try block. Right. How many except blocks we are writing? How many except blocks we are writing? How many except blocks we are writing? Except blocks we are writing. How many except blocks we are writing? Multiple. See, my dear students, multiple. Even though we write these many except blocks, did you feel that all of them will execute at a time or any one of it? Any one of it. Super. Even though we write what? Multiple except blocks. Even though we write multiple except blocks, at any point of time, PVM executes only one except block at a time. One except block at a time. Depends on type of exception. Depends on type of exception. Very important, my dear students. Depends on type of exception. Even though we write multiple except blocks, at any point of time, PVM executes only one except block. At any point, PVM execute except block. It depends on type of exception. Dear students, are you okay? Are you following me? What I am trying to say? Yes, perfect. Even though we write multiple except block, at any point of time, PVM executes only one except block at a time depends on the type of exception. Fine. Now, what is the placement of except block? The place of writing, yes, my dear students, schema. The place of writing the except block. The place of writing except block is the place of writing except block is the place of writing except block is after come on, after what, try block, after a try block, and before which block, else block. If we write else block, if we write what block, else block, that means writing else block is optional. I may write it, I may not write it. Dear students, are you okay? The place of writing except block is after try block and before else block if we write else block. Super. So first one is called what? This one. Second one, third one, fourth one. This is comes under what block? This is comes under which block, my dear students? Except block. See, try block, and next is called except block. And varieties of except blocks I will tell you in today's class. Don't worry. Next I am going to talk about the third point. Third point I am going to talk about. What is the third point now? Else block I am going to talk. Else block I am going to explain. What is an else block? Look at that else block here. Very simple, my dear students. Look at that else block. Here I am writing. Yeah. Look at that else block. What is happening here? Block of statements which will generate. It is recommended to write the results of the program because else block will execute when there is no exception occurring in try block. Am I correct? When there is no exceptions are there in try block, else block will execute. Else block will execute. Let us coming to the discussion. It is the block in which we write block of statements in which we write the block of statements. It is the block in which we write block of statements generates in which we write the block of statements. Here what we used to write it generates user-friendly error messages. Here we write what generating exceptions. Block of statements which will generate. It is the block we write block of statements recommended for giving recommended. It is the block we write block of statements recommended for, I will write it, recommended for displaying the results of the program, because results related, when there is no exception coming, results will come. It is the block we write block of statements recommended for displaying the results of the program. It is a particular powerful statement. Yeah. Else block will execute when there is no exception occurs in which block? Try block. When there is no exception occurs in try block. Else block will execute when there is no exception occurs in try block. It is the block in which we write block of statements recommended for displaying the results of the program. Else block will execute when there is no exception occurs in try block. Super. Next I am going to talk about it. Else block, we got it. Okay, sir. Else block. When there is else block, what is the place of writing else block? See, else block will execute when there is no exception occurs in that. Else block to be written, the place of writing, I will write it. The place of writing, else block is after, which block? Except block and before, which block? Finally block and finally block. Good. Writing else block is mandatory or optional? Writing else block is mandatory or optional? It is strictly optional. I may write it, I may not write it. Writing else block is I may write it, I may not write it. I may write it, I may not be writing it. So coming to the point of it, I may write it, I may not write it. Right? Coming to the point of it, I'm going to give you the clarity here. So writing else block is called what? Strictly what? Optional. Writing else block is what? Optional. Writing else block is optional. The place of writing else block is after except block and before finally block. Writing else block is optional. I may write it, I may not write it. This is related to which one? This is related to which block? Else block. Are you able to understand me? My dear students, are you getting clarification? Yes, my dear students. Fine. Now it is a time to see to move forward. Yeah. Now I will go for fourth point. I will go for finally block. Finally block. I will write it. Yes. What do you know about finally block? Strictly tell me. Here also I will write 4 points. 4 points I will write it. Right. Finally block will execute compulsory or not? Finally block will execute compulsorily irrespective of type of exception occurs or not. I am writing here finally block will execute. Finally block will execute irrespective of, I will write it, irrespective of type of exceptions occurs in, irrespective of type of exception occurs, right? Writing finally block is optional or mandatory? Everybody must say it is optional. I may write it, I may not write it. Sir, why it is mandatory and why it is optional? I will explain, my dear students. But I will mention the point. After my explanation, you will understand. Writing finally block is optional. Writing finally block is optional. I may write it, Writing finally block is optional. Okay? Right. And the place of writing, I will explain that. First point I left blank. I will explain. Because that is the main point. The place of writing, finally block. The place of writing, finally block is after. Which block? The place of writing finally block is after. Which block? Else block. Are you able to understand? Right. No, Anvita, no ma. Finally block, I may write it, I may not write it. You will understand now, Anvita, you will understand. Let us go to the functionality. Based on the functionality, we can understand writing finally block execution is compulsory. Finally block will execute compulsorily. Compulsorily, I can mention that word. Compulsorily. Compulsorily, irrespective of type of exception occurs. Am I correct? Finally block will execute. Execution is compulsory. Whenever you write it, it will execute. Writing finally block is optional. See, my dear students, without writing finally block also, I will execute. Remove this, and then execute. Removing this, I removed finally block. See that div2.py. I will execute this program. I will execute this program. So, coming to the point back, I will go forward. See, I will save my code. I will save my code. See, coming to this point, I will take it. G colon say, okay, we are Python here, 6 p.m. 6 p.m. I will take up there 6 p.m. CD. I will take it exceptions there. Py div2 dot. So 10 and 2, I got the result. See, I did not write finally block. I did not write finally block. 100 and 0, you see, don't enter 0 for denominator. Execution is compulsory, but writing finally block is optional. Now I will write finally block. Now I wrote finally block. See, enter the value 10, 0. Exception is coming, executing finally block. Enter the value 10, enter the value 2. No exception is coming, finally block is executing, compulsory. But I may write finally block, I may not write finally block. How it is working, how it is written, I will explain the functionality now. Come on to this. This point is understandable. Finally block will execute compulsorily, irrespective of type of exceptions occurs. Writing finally block is optional. The place of writing finally block is after else block. Is after else block. Sir, what is the need of this finally block? Very, very important. Let me start. Let us take one paintbrush. Paint. I will write it. Some statements, my dear students. Carefully understand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on. I will write it 99, and 100. 100 statements I wrote it. 100 statements I wrote it. Carefully understand everybody. So in this line number, this is my Python program. This is my Python program. This is called my Python program. Okay, or simply like this. In the line number 1, I obtained resources. The first term you are getting obtained resources. Resources you are obtaining. You are obtaining the resources, my dear students. You are obtaining the resources. Obtaining resources. See, resources means file. Opening of files. Opening of files is one of the example of obtaining resources. Because file contains some data. File contains some data, or I obtained some database connection. Obtained what? DB connection. Obtained what? DB connection. Obtained DB connection. Yes. Opening files are what? Obtained DB connection. So opening files and obtained DB connections are called what? Obtaining resources. So in line number 1, I opened one file. Actually, you don't know what is file. After this concept, we will start the files concept for you. Okay. Obtaining the resources means obtaining the files concept here. Okay. Okay, dear students. Once we opened the file, definitely you must close the file. Am I correct? Definitely you must close the file. So, releasing the resources. Releasing. I will write the word called what? Releasing the resources. Releasing the resources. The resources. Releasing is nothing but what? Closing the resources. Okay? Closing the resources. That is nothing but file close, or DB connection close, DB connection close, DB connection close. Strictly speaking, in the modern Python programming, it is not necessary. Okay, anyhow you try to understand. Yes, ma, D. John. A simple example you take it. Because in banking level of application, you take direct example. Suppose you took a loan from ICICI. You have an account in SBI. So you are permitting them, ICICI people, to deduct the money for every first or second from your salary. From your salary, for example. That time what will happen? ICICI people will execute one program. You are authorizing the ICICI people to contact the SBI application. Your application allows to open the file where your account details are there, and it will deduct the amount, and then they will get the money from that for everything. That is nothing but automatic application will execute. You are providing such details to the ICICI people to deduct the amount from your SBI account. So you imagine your account details are there in the file. So every first or second ICICI people will execute their program. In that program, they opened your SBI file name and they will deduct the amount and they forget to close the file. What will happen? Some unknown malformed operations malformed operations may perform. Malformed operations means what? File is still opening. Some other person, some other kind of program may interfere and they may modify such data. It leads to what? Inconsistent data. Simple, general example you think. I gave the room keys of mine to you. You want one Python book? Sir, you give me Python book. I said that, okay, go to my home and get the book. It is there. I am giving the keys for you. You opened the door and you are coming without closing the door. You came out by doing your operation, and some unknown person can enter inside of it and they can steal something else. Is it not leading to some type of inconsistency in the home? Am I correct? So that's why once you opened the file, it is the responsibility of the programmer to release the resources. It is the responsibility of the programmer to close the resources. Are you following? Yes. So it is recommended for you to close the resource. It is mandatory. The industry says it is a mandatory. So compulsory you need to close your file. Okay. Right, my dear students, look at that. This is, in this case, when the file is, see, in the line number 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., you wrote some block of statements. Okay, nice. You wrote some block of statements. In line number 5, in line number 5, you have some statement. You have some statement. C is equal to 100 by 0. 100 by 0. For example, assume. When C is equal to 100 by 0, definitely what will happen? Exception is occurring or not? Come on, quickly. Yeah. So when exception is occurring, definitely I must write in which block this one. Definitely I must write in which block? Try block. And I must write which block here? Except block I will write it. Except block. Except block I will write it. What is that except block? Zero division error. 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 Zero division error I am writing. Okay, now I am writing certain block of statements. Certain block of statements I am writing. Again one more except block. I may have some more except blocks also. I may have some more except blocks also. Some more exception may be there. Some more exception may be there. Some more exception may be there. Like that I may have some number of except blocks are there. Some number of except blocks are there. Some number of except blocks are there. Dear students, carefully follow all of you. Some type of except blocks are there. See, all of you carefully think about it. Everybody, with more sincerity, you think about it. This is inside of the try block. Exception is occurring. When the exception is occurring straightforward, it will come out of that and it will execute except block. Except block. File was opened. File was opened. In line number 5, exception is occurring. It is jumping out of it. Will it go after executing except block? Will it go to line number 6 again to execute the other statements? Will it go, my dear students? No, never, sir. So what is happening, sir, then? If you carefully and more perfectly, if you think, sir, here I am writing, what block I am writing, sir? Else block may be there, else block may be there, that we are not bothering about it at present. You wrote else block statements also. Now I am writing what block statement I am writing here. Finally block I am writing. In the finally block I am writing 100 statement I am writing. Close the file. Close the files. Close the files or what? DB connection. DB connection. Close the file or what? DB connection. Close the files or DB connection. Finally block 100. Close the files or DB connection. Tell me quickly now. Instead of writing that 100 statement, write the 100 statement in where? Close. Why I am writing here? Once the exception is occurring, in line number 5, it is jumping out of that except block. After this execution is over, it is not going back, unable to close my file, which is not a recommended approach. That's why industry says what? Don't write this 100 statement inside of where? Inside of which block? Don't write this 100 statement inside of which block? Come on, quickly. Write the 100 statement in where? Write the 100 statement in which block? Finally block. Why? Finally block will execute compulsorily. Start. When an exception is occurring here, what is happening? When an exception is occurring here, it comes out of that. Execute what? Except block. Execute except block. Execute except block. After executing except block, where it is coming? It is straightforward coming to where? Finally block. And then execute what? 100 statement. Which is a better place for writing, closing the file? What is the best place for closing my files? Inside of finally block. You may ask a question, can I write inside of else block? Can I write inside of else block? No. Why? Because else block will execute when there is no exception. Can I write the closing the part inside of except block? No, I should not. Except block will come when there is an exception. When there is no exception is there, what is happening? Let us see. Suppose my concept is, it is not 0, it is 100 by 10, it is 100 by 10. Let us start. 1, executing 2, 3, and then 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 99 executed. That time it is coming out of it what? It is coming to else block. And next what block? It is executing finally block 100 place. The best place to write is what block? The best place to write finally block. The best place to close the file is in which block? Finally block. Am I clear, my dear students? Yes, sir. Come on, go back. I hope you are understanding. Yes. So, Anvita, are you following, ma? Are you following? Writing finally block is optional or mandatory na? If I don't have the resources, will I write finally block? No, sir. When I have resources, then only I will write the finally block. So I am writing here, it is the block in which we write what statements? Block of statements. Execute. Block of statements which are used for relinquishing. It is the block. We write block of statements. Like this I will write it. We write block of statements. It is the block. We write block of statements. Which are used for relinquishing. This is a technical word. That is nothing but what? Release or what? Close or what? Clean up the resources. What are the resources, sir? Files and what? Databases. Which are used for relinquishing. The resources which are used for relinquishing the resources which are obtained in where? Finally, which are obtained in which block? Try block, which are obtained in try block. So, it is the block in which we write block of statements which are used for relinquishing the resources. That means files and databases which are obtained in which block? Try block. Finally, block will execute compulsorily irrespective of type of exception occurs. Writing finally block is optional. Then the place of writing finally block is after which block? Else block. Is it clear for all of you? Is it clear for all of you? This is the topic of what? Keyword explanation of what? Keywords explanation of which one? Try block, except block, else block, and finally block. Okay, my dear students, daily this concept is going on, coming in front of you. Daily, except block, every time this will come across. Whatever you learn it, this concept is compulsorily this concept will occur. Yes, ma, Saifuddin, very good. Let us move to the further. Now I am talking about little more depth of the subject. Except block, various forms of except blocks. So I said standard syntax for you. Standard syntax, except, I said. Now what are the varieties of except blocks? If I tell, still you will say, sir, extraordinary you will say. So let me give you the total knowledge about that. In industry projects, how we will write the except block. How I will write the except block. I just want to trying to enter into that. So I am entering into the subject of like this. See, my dear students, various forms of which block? Except blocks. Various forms of what blocks? Except blocks. I am talking about various forms of except blocks. Happy. Very happy. Let us start with it. Yeah. Look at that. Look at my dear students. Suppose, see, I am just going to take you this type of situation. Yeah. All of you carefully understand, my dear students. As we discussed previously, you see, I am having exceptions here and nodes, and then DIV1 you take it. Saifuddin, Seema, you asked one doubt. Sir, how do you found which exception is coming, which error is coming, what exception? How do you write the catch block? How do you write the except block, you asked, right or not? So that is your doubt, right or not? Fine. Now let us execute. DIV1 program you execute. Come back. Yeah. Very simple, ma. Look at DIV1. Yes. Enter the first value. 100 and then 20. Sir, no problem. You got the perfect answer. I am from beginning of the program and ending of the program. No problem. Here you see, I did not write any try block. I did not write any except block. Nothing is required. Now I am going to enter. See, sir, I am entering 100 and I am entering 0. I don't know which exception it is. I don't know. Just to sample, I will enter. See what I am getting it. If this is a message, I got it. From here to here, this is a which message? Technical error message. At this moment of time, if I clearly observe it, this is called what? Saifuddin. It is called the name of the exception or not? So, we need not to put any efforts. Automatically, I am getting the name of the exception. By default, Python environment will throw the technical error message to you. Will send a technical error message to you. In that technical error message, what is coming? Exception class name also will come. Is it understandable? Yes, ma? Yes. So that itself will indicate. Now you see, I will go to my program. You see, ma, I wrote a try, Saifuddin, you see, ma, I got these statements and I wrote except and I got it. 0 division error, because I found that 0 division error. Immediately I will write except block. 0 division error. Okay. I am successfully in handling 0 division errors. Okay, sir. Next, one more exception you run it, sir. 100 and then I will enter KVR. Immediately I am getting what, my dear, you see. I got technical error message. Immediately I got one more exception, sir. One more exception I got it. How beautifully it is coming. Value error. Value error means I will go to what immediately? Go to div2, I wrote except block again, value error. One more exception, I got it. Beautiful. So in this way, I can find very easily. I don't know any exception at all, but happily I can come to know this by default Python environment will give you name of the exceptions. By default, they are sending to you. By default, they are sending to you automatically. Automatically, they are showing to you. Is it clear, my dear students? Is it clear for you? Yes. So, if anybody is having the doubt about what, sir, how do you know which exception? That is only the exception. Index error, syntax error, indentation error. These are all called what? Name of the exception classes. So, Saifuddin, is it clear, ma? Is my doubt is clear for you? Is my doubt is clear? Is your doubt is clear for you? Okay, very good. Now I am entering into various forms of except blocks. Various forms of except blocks. Let's start with it. Let's start with it. So first one, form number one, form one, first one. I'm talking about it. Form number one. Yes. Form number one I'm talking. What is the form number one? What is the form number one I'm talking here? Yeah. So in this case, first one I'm going to answer it. What is it? See, syntax I will write it. Syntax, standard syntax. Except block. See, syntax I am going to write it. Try here. Now I am writing block of statements. Now I am writing block of statements. What I am writing here? Except. What I am writing? Exception class name. Exception class name. Writing here, I will write it. Block of statements gives what message? Block of statements generates which messages? User friendly error messages. User friendly error messages. Fine. User friendly error messages. Is it okay? User friendly error messages. Block of statements generates user friendly error messages. Perfect. This is standard syntax. Next syntax I will tell you. Form number two. This is already we used the syntax. Form number two. This is called as what? Multi, very important. Multi exception handling except block. Spell out multi exception handling except block. Super concept it is. Sir, what is this says? Here, my dear students, you see, I wrote one except block at a time. There is certain things are there. Some people are asking, sir, except block, one exception name. Another except block, another exception name. Is there any concept in Python which will handle all the exceptions at a time with messages properly? Yes. Come on to the point of it. Syntax. Try. I will write it. Take the syntax like this. I am taking something like this. Yes, I am taking something like this. There I am writing try block. Now I am saying except block. So I am saying that except block here. I am saying that block of statements user friendly error messages. What I am doing now? Except class name 1, comma, see that, very powerful sentences. Except class name 2, so on, except class name n, I am writing. Except class name n number of except blocks you can write it. If you want, it is becoming so lengthy. If you want, I can write like this. What I am trying to say is something like this I am saying. So I am writing except, here I am writing exception 1 exception, exception name 1, exception name 1, exception name 2, exception name 2. I'm just reducing some lengthy of this part. Exception name n. All these exceptions we need to write, and a block of statements generating user-friendly error messages for all exceptions, for all specified exceptions, specified exceptions. See the word called user-friendly error messages. Beautiful. This facility is called what? This facility is called what? What is this facility called? User-friendly error messages. For all exceptions specified. For all the exceptions. For all the specified exceptions. For all the specified exceptions. Is it understandable? Right? No, mono. I will come to that. Look at ma. So mono, you are asking this stuff. 1 minute ma. 1 minute. I will tell you that also. Don't worry. You will understand that also. I will explain so many forms. You are asking, then sir, it will show only one message for all errors? No, I am not saying that. I am not saying that. I am saying what? Look at. Block of statements generate user-friendly error messages, not one message, for all specified exceptions. I will write the example. Very quickly take the example. See, my dear students, zero division error, I will take my example. Look, let me show you that. Let me show you that. Here, yeah, I will paste it. Zero division error, comma, what is it? Value error. Value error. I will cut it. I will copy. Zero division error, comma, value error. Whatever the user-friendly error message is there, that also I will write as a part of here. Now you remove this. That indicates it is an except block. It is handling two exceptions at a time. Zero division error and value error. It is handling zero division error as well as, yeah. If it is any one of the exception is occurring, two messages will come at a time. That indicates. Think very carefully and intelligently. If a person is committing one mistake, how you need to think so positively. If one exception is occurring, it is telling to you that message plus advanced, it is indicating to you not to perform these mistakes. It is telling what mistake you are performing, plus it is telling that don't perform this mistake in advance, it is saying. Is it understandable? Suppose if a student is failed in BTech first year, their parents are instructing, be careful about second year, third year, fourth year. That means they are advanced indicating that be careful. This is an except block. Handling two except blocks. Two except block, two user-friendly error messages are coming. If one exception is matching, this block will execute. This is called a div3.py. This is a div3.py. Start this example. It is also called a strong program. Yes, execute. Yes, please. dpy div3.py. What happens, ma? Okay. What is happening? So it is asking. So write in the bracket on. Okay. So coming to the part of it, it is asking to write inside of that. Enter the first value. Enter the first value. It is saying what? 100 and then 2. It is not giving any exception because valid input you are giving. Yes, now say 100 and then 2, 100 and 0. See that, don't enter 0 for denominator, don't enter alphanumerical values. The person who is running this program, he will clearly understand, he will understand the present message, plus he will understand the other mistake also he should not perform in advance, he is getting it. Are you following me? Now you enter once again 100 KVR I will enter. KVR I will enter. I got the message for this, plus I got other messages also. So because of one mistake committing, he is understanding what are the other mistakes possibility to committed by the end user. So if you think so positively, this is also a very good facility. Did you understand the other form of exception, my dear students? This is called multi-catch exception handling block. Multi-catch exception handling block. Mono. Is it understandable? Yes, 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 yes. Yes. Riyaj. Very correct. Very correct. Yeah. This is called one type of exception. If you like the standard form, you go for it. If you want more standards, more and more you want to handle it, you can go for it. This is called form number two. Form number two. Yeah. Some form I am going to write it. Form number three I am going to indicate. Form number two I am going to indicate. Form number three. Form number three. See, my dear students, how simple it is. Form number three. Form number three. What is it? Handling the except block. What is it? Except block. I am writing except block. Except block. Except block with exception class name. Exception class name along with alias name. Along with what name? Alias name. What a beautiful. Come on. Exception class name as alias name. So, do you know alias names already? Do you know alias names? That is nothing but this is acting as a object name of this class. Object name of this exception. Alias name acting as a object name of this. Here I can write one note. Here alias name acts as what? Object name of exception class name. Exception class name. Exception class name. Exception class name. And it contains or it stores. I will write it stores default technical error message. Default technical error message. Very, very powerful word. I will write it. Default technical error message. Default technical error message. Default technical error message of the exception. Of the exception. What is that meaning, sir? Can you explain, sir? Yeah. Let us go for executing div1 program. My dear students, please look at. Here I did not write any exceptions. No try, no catch, nothing. Execute. Yeah. Go to py, div1.py. Yes, sir. 100 and then what? 100 and then 0. See that? What is coming? 0 division error is the name of the exception, whose message is called division by 0. Division by 0. See, this message is stored in. This message is stored in where? Yes, this here alias name acts as object name of exception and it stores default technical error message of the exception. What is the default technical error message? Division by 0 is called a default technical error message. Is it understandable, my dear students? Is it understandable, my dear students? Yes, sir. Let me show you that example. Let me show you, my dear students. Yes, here I will take it. I will take it. See, I will take it. Others, I will take div4. div4. Yes, div4. Yes, a division by 0 as a KVR. As a KVR. So I will write here simply. I will write here KVR. Simply I will write KVR. KVR is nothing but what? Message. What message is recorded? Which message is recorded? Just now I shown you. Which message? Division by 0 is recorded in where? KVR. KVR is an object that stores the default message. Value error as HYD. Take your own name, no problem. Take your message as what? Djon. So Djon hyphen you write it because underscore is not possible. Hyphen is not possible. No? Djon. I will write a Djon. Djon. So John. So I wrote like this. You please execute, ma. You please execute div4. div4. Yeah, please carefully understand. Execute. Sir, div4, sir. Carefully observe, ma. Enter first value, second value 0. See what is coming? Division by 0. See, division by 0. Is it division by 0 means nothing but this 0 division error. This is printed or not? Yes. So because of that, which message is coming? Which message is coming? This is coming. So I'm writing here division by 0 is coming. One more message I will go for ma. DIV1 you say 110 and then what? 223A you write it. What is the value error? Value error. This is a message which is coming. This is a message which is coming. Let me execute DIV2 all. DIV4 you execute. DIV4. So say 10 and then KVR you say. See the message. Invalid literal for int. The same message is coming. Am I correct? Am I correct? Yes, sir. So powerful things. These are all very technical part of it. So you are going to get this type of message. This type of message. So these are all called what? One more type of messages. So this is another mechanism. Alias names these are called. Just they are called objects. Very powerful, dear students. Super. Come on back to this point. Yes, move to that. This is called form 3. Form 3. Are you okay? Are you understandable? Is it? Fine. Next, one more kind of thing. I will write it. Form number 4. Form number 4. Yes, form number 4. Yeah. See, without telling all these things also I can move forward. But no. Except block. This is called except block. This is called except block. Without exception name. See the beautiful point. Without exception class name. Alias name you keep it aside. Without exception class name. This is people are trying to tell nowadays. That's why people are going out of this. I will tell to you. Don't go for form number 4. Don't go to form number 4. Except no exception statement. Yes, please go to that again. I will take it. I will take it. Look at my dear students. See how I am writing. You watch it. Yeah. Here, no except block. I am not writing any except block. I just write like this. I just saying that what? I don't know. Since you did not write any exception, simply people are writing, oops, exception occurs. Exception occurs. Because they did not specify. See, they did not write. Suppose if they write what message? 0 division error. They can write the user-friendly message. Value error. They can write the corresponding user-friendly error message. There is no meaning of user-friendly exception name. There is no exception name means what messages you will give. Did you understand? Did you understand? There is no exception name. You cannot write any user-friendly name. But this except block. What are all the exceptions are occurring in this try block? Everything is matched with what? Except block without exception. What are all the exceptions are there in this try block? All the exceptions are matched to this except block. So I am writing this point here. What is this? This except block are the above form. The above form of which block? Except block. Addresses all types of exceptions. But we are not able to generate particular what messages? User-friendly error messages. Not able to generate user-friendly error messages. Are you able to understand? Not able to generate user-friendly error messages. Not able to generate particular user-friendly error messages. Is it true? Let us test it, sir. div5 div5.java div5. Yes, so see, I wrote it here. Say py div5 enter the first value 100 and a 0. See, exception occurs. Exception occurs. What exception occurs? I don't know. Is it recommended? You see, 10, 100, KVR I will enter. See, exception occurs. Is it recommended? No. That means one except block handling everything. If anybody says that one except block handling everything, that is not a recommended. That is not for all types of problems, only one except block. Will the industry people will do like this? Not useful at all. No use at all. So, for every problem, one user-friendly message is required. Am I correct? For every problem, one user-friendly error message is required. Am I correct or not? Yes. So there is no use of such type of except block, my dear students. No use of such type of except blocks. So always recommended to go for things. Am I clear? Yes. But I will suggest you when to write this, sir. I will suggest you when to write it. My dear students, look at. I will go to DIV4. I will go to DIV4 or DIV2, whatever it is. I will take this. I will take this. My dear students, I am also suggesting when you see. You handled. How many exceptions you are handling? With your don'ties, how many exceptions are coming? How many exceptions you brought, you thought of it? 2 exceptions. Are you handling 2 exceptions or not? 2 exceptions are coming or not? Yes, did you handle or not? Yes, sir, handled, sir. In the near future, your project will go for maintenance. Yes or no? Your project will go for maintenance. Maintenance means they will add some more statements or not? They will add some more statements. Yes or no? Yes, sir. That time, they are unable to write except block. They are unable to write except block because they might not knowing the exception. That time, to address the maintenance problems of the industry, I will write except. You just write except. So what are you writing here? Print. Come on, what is this? Exception. What? Occurs. At least exception occurs. At least exception. So, at least exception occurs. Are you able to understand? Are you able to understand my point? Yes. Yes, ma. Abhishek, please re-log in, ma. Am I clear? Is my voice is clear for everybody, ma? Is my voice is clear? Yes, ma. Please, Abhishek, please re-log in, ma. All of them are getting, my dear student. Abhishek, please re-log in. Okay? Yeah. So see, what is the order of writing exception? First you write always what? Specific exceptions. Specific exceptions. First you write specific exceptions. At the end you write what? Generic exception. Generic exception means what? Generic exception means what? General exception, which will handle all types of exceptions. So, I can write the above form of except block addresses all types of exceptions, but we are not able to generate particular user-friendly error messages. It is, if at all we are interested to write, we are interested to write, then we must write after all types of specific except blocks. After all specific except blocks. Specific except blocks means what? Specific except blocks means what? Value error, and then zero division error. We need to write those things. All of them are useful, ma. But how to use it? That is depends on the person to person. Suppose if you write only like this. Is there any use of it? No use. But the people will train like that. In academically, they will train like that. And then actually industry says what? Write all the except blocks especially. Last you write what? Except block. If any unknown exception is there in my program, unknown exception is there in this program, this is not matching, not matching. This is matching here, execute. Now let us save it. div6.py, div6.py, yes, py, div6.py, yes, py, py, yes, tell me, py, yes, what is something is going on, py, div6.py, see that first value and then say something like a 0, I got it. Next is called 23 and then 3 ABC, I got it. Where is the question of another exception? Where is the question of another exception? No except block. If at all, I am saying the reason also. When it goes to maintenance, see my dear student, s is equal to Python, I am adding. Now I am writing print of, yes of, yes of. See, 10 I am writing, 10 I am writing. What it is? What is it? S is equal to Python. Some statement has added. S of 10. What is that error? Which error, ma? Index error. Index error, is it matching here? No. Is it matching here? No. It is coming to where? One universal exception is there. So which one is matching? 15th is matching. See my dear student, what is matching? Enter the first value, 10. Enter the second value, 2. What is coming? Exception occurs. See, exception occurs. Did you understand? Did you understand? Yes. Good. Where I am writing? At the end of it, suppose by mistake, by mistake, if you write here, where are you writing? Where are you writing? Here you are writing. Before all. Did you know what is happening? Say, sir, what is happening, ma? Except something is, yes, execute. See that, what is happening? Yeah, see, what is happening? Default except block must be. Default except block must be. Last, this only saying, where? Syntax error. Yes, you beautiful part of the Python. It is the last you need to write always. This is what I wrote it here. This is what I wrote it. If at all you are interested to write, then we must write all types of except blocks at the end only. We must write all types of exceptions at the end of this only. So we will write this except blocks at the end of all types of statements in the program. We have to write after writing all the statements in the program. What is this concept is called? Default block we can call. This is known as which block? Default block we can call. Except block without exception class name is called which block? This is default block we can call. Default except block. Are you understanding, my dear students? This except block is called what? Default except block. Default except block. So where do you write a default except block? Default except block to be written where? If you are interested to write, then we must write after all types of except block. That is nothing but at last only we must write it. At last only we must write it. Dear students, are you okay? Is it understandable, my dear students? Yes, sir. Yeah. How many except blocks, my dear students? How many except blocks, my dear students? See how much easy for it. Form 1. Except block with exception class name. Except block with what? Single. Except block, I will write. Except block with a single exception name. With a single exception name. Exception class name. Exception class name. With a single exception class name. I wrote it here. With a single exception class name. I wrote it here. Yes. Multi-exception handling block. Okay. Except block with a alias name. Okay. Next what? Except form 4. That is nothing but what? Except block with all this kind of thing. Easy. Easy or difficult? Easy, sir. This is called what? Various forms of what? Various forms of what? Except blocks. Yes, my dear students, easy or difficult? Except blocks. Various forms of except blocks. Good. Nice. So various forms of except blocks. Are you perfect in try block, except blocks and all those things? How confident you are? How confident you are in Python? Are you confident enough in Python, my dear students? Very good. Yes, Dheeraj. 100% we can write, 100% we can write in the function also. I will show you that. I will show you that. Yes. So, one of our student is asking, sir, can we do it in function? Everywhere, my dear student. Everywhere you can write it. Yes, I am going to show you. I will show you, ma. That is our next concept is called what? Dheeraj. We can write happily in function also. Let me show you that also. Let me show you that also. Anyhow, Dheeraj, see, I am handling the exception. When I come to the raise keyword, I am going to deal with the functions only. Even our case study, I told you I will do the case study in the class. In the case study, we will come across in the functions itself. No problem. Since Dheeraj asked this question, I will show you that in the form of this. Let us take, to feel more easiest part of this, I will take the exception. Let us define, I will take this part of it. I will take this part of it. What I am going to do? Let us take, I am taking others. Say here, yeah. I will take it DEF, something like DIV, division, for example, division. What are the things? Let us take it as like this. No problem. Here I am taking A is equal to input of. Yes, my dear friend, don't think that Sir is taking the same example, because I am going to do the case study with different examples. I will explain, no doubt in that. Because same example, if you see different mechanisms, you will feel more relaxed and easily to understand. Because next class we are going to do a lot of things. And one more thing, people are leaving immediately now. Tomorrow is a holiday. Institute has announced a holiday tomorrow. On the occasion of Diwali, they announced a holiday. Tomorrow there is no class. Again, we will meet on Friday. Friday is the class. Okay? Let us please ensure. Because people will leave means it is a difficult. Enter. I will take this part. Look at ma. I will take this area. I will take this area. So I am taking this type of statement. Yeah, I will take this type of statements. See, my dear students, here, this is called what? Exceptions. Here exception is occurring. In this function, exceptions are occurring. Automatically exceptions are occurring. What I will do? I can happily write here itself try. I can write a try. I can write happily. I need to write the statements as it is. Except block I can write it. Instead of that, you can do what you know. Let it be same. Let it be. Okay. Now I do what? Return what? What I will do? X1 comma X2 comma X3. Okay. Fine. Now I will write main program. Dheeraj. Yeah. We are calling which function, my dear students? Division we are calling. Division. I can hold it into where? A comma B comma C is equal to. A comma B comma C 0 is equal to. Right, ma? RAM. RAM. I said you in my indexing only. These are all comes under that only, my dear RAM. That is comes under the same thing what I am explaining. Okay. So here I told you in our exceptions part, all these things are comes under that only, Mr. RAM. So it is not for toy. It is not a toy subject. It is called real world what we come across, that only. So see that we are going to talk about this. Fine. So take care of that and try to understand. So ABC is coming here. So this is generating the exception. Generating exception means what? I will write what? Try block I am writing. Why try block I am writing? Because there are multiple exceptions are coming. What are the exceptions are coming here? Multiple exceptions are coming. These are the exceptions we are getting it. I will write happily this type of thing. Are you able to understand? Else block. I will print the result. What is my result? I will write this type of statements. I will write this type of statements. So here I am writing this kind of things. Are you able to get my points? Value of A, value of A. This I will write here A, and then next is called a B. B, and I will write C, and I see I got it. Are you able to see division function is throwing an exception? Two exceptions are there, two exceptions I am holding it. So I am writing here, so function exception, fun exceep dot py, function exception dot py. Any type of real-time application if you take it, what are all the exceptions are coming? My classroom notes will help you. My classroom notes are all going to come under real world coding segments. So take care about that, and then value of C is going to be taken care. And keep my notes forever with you, and this is addressing every type of problems what you come across in the real time. So enter the first value 100 and 20, result is coming like this. Now say enter 100 and say something like 20 ABC. 20 ABC. See that what is coming? Don't enter this. Dheeraj, are you understanding, my dear student? You say 100 here and then 0, you say you got the 0. Don't enter the denominator. I wrote my code inside of that. Some exceptions are coming. I handled my function inside of what? Try block. So function is written because this entire code was written in that. I handled the function inside of the try and except block, because inside of it I recognized value error, division error. I got it. So simple. Dear students, am I clear? Right. Good. Thank you, Dheeraj. Right. Fine. So this is about which block? This is about which block? All types of blocks are clear. Am I clear about this except raise block? Raise is going to be discussing on Friday. Tomorrow is a holiday. For all the classes, it is holiday. So I will meet on Friday class. Okay? Thank you. Good day. All the best. Happy Diwali for all of you. Right. Thank you. Wish you the same for everybody. Yes. Right, my dear student. Now itself I will upload the notes. Please download it and then read that and do well. Right.